Okay, so I'm going to start recording. So here's what I want to learn from you guys is I want to support your office and Dale, and you guys are awesome, and the fact that you want to support your team leader is amazing. So let me hear from you guys. What do you hope I cover today so that I cover exactly what you want, and then I'll cover what I think you guys need to hear. Tell me what you're thinking.
We'll have Jerry go first if Chris stepped out of the room.
Okay.
Where's the speaker, on the front or back?
Jerry's trying to figure out the technology.
It doesn't matter, just leave it.
All right, well, I wasn't listening, I was trying to observe it.
So what do you guys want to, what do you want to hear and what do you want to learn?
Well, I've been here 3.5 years. I've been trying to get a lot of other realtors to come here. I'd like to get into the profit sharing plan. I've approached people that were here that I was good friends with and left and went to another company. I haven't given up on them. Next week we're having a social. I'm planning to invite a few of them here.
Okay, so just to kind of get my arms around that, you want to learn how to refer and how to set up appointments?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. We'll definitely accomplish that. What else do you guys want to hear? Do you want to learn how to recruit?
Well, I went to that class, what was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
Yep.
I picked up a lot of information, but listen, I'm a big fan of Keller Williams. I left for 5 months. I realized the grass wasn't greener on the other side, and I came running back. I was welcomed with open arms, so nobody could talk better than me about joining this company and the assets and the benefits of being an agent here.
Okay, so we just want to get a formal plan on how to do that purposefully.
I have trouble understanding.
Jessica, this is Donna.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to come up with ideas on how to create the energy and the positive part of bold rather than, oh no, it's bold again.
Okay, well, this is not going to be a conversation about bold. This is going to be about recruiting. So I'm not going to cover that at all today. So I'm sorry, but this will be basically about recruiting and building the office. So I'm not going to cover bold at all today, but I will cover what you could do about events in general, and that bold is a great event. So when you have anything great on your training calendar, it's awesome to use that as a reason to connect with people. So I'll definitely cover about how to do that.
Okay, well, I'm working with the new recruits and trying to get newly licensed.
Okay, cool. So newly licensed. Dale, what about you? What are you hoping to accomplish with this today? Because I want to tackle everything that's important to you.
Right. Implementing the growth team and just how best to direct the energy that is coming from people that want to help.
Yeah, because you know what? That's the coolest thing ever is when you have people like this great group you have here that care and want part of the gift. So that's step one, is having great people like that around you. And you obviously have that. And I was able to meet most of you at the event, and you guys, your hearts are huge, and I love it. So I look forward to that. Let me jump in and then stop with questions. And we'll make sure that when we wrap, that everybody that had a specific need or want that you're taking care of. So I'm just going to start with, this is new. To have a recruiting team is not typical. I'm just going to be honest. There's not a lot of offices doing it yet. Yet I think in order for all of us to hit the goals that Keller Williams has and the initiative of the growth, whole culture of growth, this is the only way to really do it well. And so the team leader's responsibility is really to go find those experienced agents that we really can help, because the agents that we can help the most are the brand new agents and the really experienced agents. We don't help as much that agent that is going to sell 2 or 3 homes a year. There's a lot of cheap shops out there that they're probably going to be more fit for that. So we're really looking for those agents that want to build a business and a career. And what do we say? Careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living. If an agent isn't capping, they're not making much in real estate. So we're looking for those top agents and those new agents, and those are the agents that we're most likely to help. With that being said, as a team leader, and for Dale, your team leader, his focus should be those top agents, and yet there's so many people getting into the business every month that you guys could be helping with. And that's a huge opportunity for you to grow your downline. Now, you can also refer him great agents already in the business. We'll talk about both. And yet, let's just jump right in. So here's a few notes for you guys. And again, I'm new to this. I've been doing this for a few months. It's working. and it's getting better and better every month. We're working through kinks. So I'm going to share with you what I'm doing now, and yet know that I evolved to this. So when I first started doing this, I started with one agent helping me. And I strongly recommend that, Dale, you focus on 1 or 2 folks that are really committed versus a whole lot of people, because the more people you add, the more people you have to manage. So it's like building a real estate team. You don't go out and hire 8 buyer agents right away. You build up to that, and this is just the same. So you want to treat your recruiting team, your growth team, or growth committee, however you want to call it, as like a real estate team. So know that this is not a perfect science, and yet this is kind of where we're at. So here's some key things, Dale, and for you as a team, just to acknowledge. You want to identify who is a great candidate for your team. And they've got to be willing to make some sort of commitment to this, because it's just like if I'm a realtor and I'm a mega rainmaker and you guys are on my team, if I'm handing you leads, I need you to treat them very seriously, right?
Absolutely.
Right? So these are my leads. I'm handing my leads away. So if I have agents that are kind of busy or don't have time for this, or I'll do it tomorrow and then they don't do it, this whole thing could fall apart. And so it's not about finding an agent that'll help here or there. It's an agent that wants to do this and wants to make like a commitment for the next 3 months. And then if they get busy with business, step out for a while if they need to and step back in when they can. So that's why I've kind of expanded, where I went from 1 agent helping me to 2, and now I have 8. And the reason why is because agents get busy. Sometimes someone has to step out for a month because they've got vacations and other things going. And so I've just expanded my bandwidth to 8, but I would start with 1 or 2. And again, they have to be committed to being trained how to do this well, so that first of all, it's a good use of their time. If they do a bunch of appointments for Dale or for me and they have 0 conversion, we've just wasted their time and the lead. So it's just like if you were to hire a buyer agent, you would make sure they were properly trained and that they were empowered to do this at a high level. So same difference here. And I've got the recruiting presentation here that I'm going to email you guys. That even has all the cliff notes of what an agent might talk about or say as an introduction to Keller Williams. And what
Did I tell you that I love you?
No, well, I'm just going to tell you, it's because I'm a control freak. Let's just be honest. Because, it's like me giving my business away. It's like, and yet I want to do this for my agents. And I know Dale does too. So we just want to make sure you're doing it well. Now, let's just be honest. It's not, you just don't get 1 training and you're done. So what I do, and again, if you guys plus this in any way, I would love to hear what you're doing that works for you. But our commitment is that we have anyone that wants to do this shadow 2 appointments with 2 excellent recruiters. So one of them might be me, one might be Margaret, who was my assistant team leader, one might be Lou, who's my #1 converter. And we have a little bit different styles, but if you were to watch all of us, we just follow what I've taught them. We follow the PowerPoint, we follow the different screens that we're sharing, we follow the power walk. So we all do it well and right, because if someone isn't going to do it that way, it's not good, right?
Right.
So it's not a one-off training. So they're going to not only learn, I do a recruiting boot camp every other month, and everybody that's doing this comes back in, even if they've done it before, to kind of freshen up, kind of give feedback and share what's working and kind of share how they're plussing it, so that everyone stays engaged. Second of all, they're going to shadow 2 recruiting appointments before they do 1. And when they do their 3rd, they're going to lead that with the help of one of those master recruiters. So that if it's not going well, the recruiter that is more trained can pop in and save the appointment. And also it's kind of like, hey, you got this. And that's all that we've had to do for our agents that have done this to have a high conversion rate. Our conversion rate is about 80%. So, that's awesome. The standard is, I think, 25%. So to get on my team is now tough, to be real honest with you, which is pretty awesome. And yet I'm pouring into these agents so that they get that good. It's not like, good luck. Again, these are my leads I'm handing off. So I'm going to make sure that the agent is empowered. So I am a little bit micromanaging in the beginning, as I need to be, so I know it goes well. So before someone's first appointment, I'm like sending them a text, like, Good luck. You got this. Call me as soon as it's done. Text me at any point if you need me to jump into the conference room and help you, whatever. So I am a little bit micromanaging. My team would definitely say that I am until I know they've got it. And I think that's important to know. So,
But it's important to set standards, right?
yeah, well, just like, okay, if I was going to be on your real estate team and you were giving me buyer leads, how would you want it done? It's the same difference. And yet I want to empower you. So if you're going to do this, that you get the result, right?
Absolutely.
Now, lead generation, you've got options. Now, I'm going to tell you what we're doing, and you guys need to come up with your plan, and Dale should be the author of this plan. I have a list that we buy for all the new licensees and applicants from the state. You guys can get the same information. I know Natasha Tello has the information for your area if you don't know about the list that you could buy. The list is bought. I don't know what it costs, but every Monday we get the list, and it's people that have put their application in to become a realtor or that they've just passed their test. We have letters going out to those folks. We're happy to share what letters we send. I'd love to see what you guys are sending as well. And then I have a virtual assistant through my outdesk. Her name is Mary. She calls. She calls all week. She calls and calls and calls to set appointments. On average, she sets about 20 to 25 appointments a month for us. Those appointments are put on a calendar. So I'm just going to show you some logistics. Can you guys see my calendar?
No, we're seeing the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Do you have two screens?
I guess I'm still learning how to use this, so give me one sec. Can you see my calendar now?
Yes.
Okay.
Jesse, we're using BrokerKit. Are you using that?
Yep. So I'll show you that in a minute. So let's just say Mary's hitting the phones. It's Monday. She just got the list. See how we have all of these people's calendars?
Mm-hmm.
These are my recruiting team. And you'll see their slots where they have hold recruiting, like Margaret does here at 2:15. Mary, our VA in the Philippines, is calling right now, and as soon as she sets an appointment, she's going to have everybody's calendar up to see who can take it. So it's not like floor time or anything. It's who's available right now time. So that's how we hand out the appointments. It's not like a priority or who gets the next one. It's who's available. Because with recruiting appointments, you need to set them for the next day or the day after, or if you set them too far out, they'll never happen.
Okay, so if she puts in the appointment, does she also create the contact in this account?
Yes, you're stealing my thunder, man. Absolutely. So then she goes into BrokerKit. So I'm going to make sure you guys see my BrokerKit next. So she's logging into BrokerKit. So she's an admin on my BrokerKit. And then so she's putting the person in BrokerKit. So she's going to enter the person in, and she's going to assign whatever recruiter as owner. So that was your name.
What is the difference for you for recruiter and owner?
It's owner. Owner is whoever is the recruiter. So Mary goes in here, hits edit, and is going to put whatever person on the recruiting team is responsible for that person. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Now this is why. Because when I go over to reports, Dale, this is going to be really important for you for keeping your arms around this. I can go under reports. Can you see my screen for reports?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. And I can switch to whatever recruiter that is. So let's just say it's Margaret. And I can, in 15 minutes a week, go through her pipeline over the phone with her to make sure, A, she's following up, and I can see she's talked to this person 4 days ago, 8 days ago, a month ago. Okay, maybe I'm a little worried about this one. I can see how long it's been since she's been loving on that pipeline she's working. So A, I know if I need to jump in and maybe do some follow-up or see what's going on. But B, I can see who are my 10s and who are my 9s and who's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the logistics of all that?
Yep.
Okay, so I've got my ISA calling, setting appointments. When you look at the appointment, she's got all the notes that Margaret will need just to walk right in to the appointment. She knows the phone number even and the name. So if Margaret, my recruiter, had to like even change the appointment time, she could call this person directly without it being a big deal. And yet Mary, if we go into like next week, she'll see different people have different times for recruiting appointments. And I don't have my whole recruiting team up here, but I've got a lot of options. And they always, the week before, just put what times they're going to be free. Any questions on that?
No, so your recruiting team basically gives you blocks where they would be available, correct?
You got it. And so
Okay.
here's the other thing. If you guys don't have an ISA and you don't have this list, I'd suggest getting the list and then having your recruiting team, whoever is willing to take appointments this week, get together on Monday morning for 2 hours and call on that list. What I wouldn't do.
We have the list.
Okay,
We have
cool.
the list and we have an ISA. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then you're good there. But this is what I've learned the hard way, just to share with you.
Yeah, tell me.
ISA.
I just asked people to call, and they said they would call, and they didn't call. And our appointments went to like 0 for a while. It really killed our momentum. So agents, I love you guys, but your first job is to sell real estate. We know that. So we just have to be great communicators so that if you're too busy this week, you don't say yes. You say, I can't this week, but maybe next week. Because we can't give you those leads and not have what needs to happen. So just know that that's just a commitment to each other, and yet it just requires communication. So lead gen, to follow up with that, one of the standards I have is that my recruiting team, I have a couple different blocked call times a month that they jump in on one of them, and it might be just, wow, we're really behind on follow-up. We need to everyone needs to hit the phones and just love on some people, or wow, we don't have enough appointments, or wow, whatever. And so I just have a few times booked a month, and I'll have some helpers pop in, and that's the recruiting team helping me out with whatever we need.
Perfect.
The second thing I'm doing is empowering my recruiting team on how they could invite. So Bold, like you'd mentioned, Bold is coming up. How could we invite? So you can take broker metrics out and pull all the agents that are quarter cappers or less and invite them to Bold. And there's some great scripts that your Bold coach can provide you for invitations. I can also, let's just say I've got a training geared towards leverage. I might take the top of the roster in broker metrics, give it to my agents and say, please call and invite everybody that you know on this list. So it's not just me setting appointments for them. I hope you hear that. It's not me having Mary, our ISA, set appointments for them. It's them covering those appointments plus helping me out at least once a month with call day or call night when I need help, and them being purposeful about being phenomenal inviters. So your calendar is going to be a direct reflection of what you can invite to, right? So if you don't have things for top agents, you're not going to have anything to invite to. So it also kind of makes you more accountable to making sure you're adding value on your calendar. Okay, so that's kind of lead gen. What other questions do you guys have about lead gen?
So you're basically managing your team, and you're the finisher, the joker in the sleeve, correct?
Say that again? I just heard joker.
You are managing your team, and you are basically, the joker in the sleeve and finish up in case something does not go right, or there's.
Well, yeah. Let's just go back to Broker Kit.
Mm-hmm.
Broker Kit is really critical in this because of notes. So let me just find somebody. I'll just go back to Chuck, who we brought in already. I'll show you this. Can you guys see my Broker Kit?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This isn't a good one. Let's go to. Okay, I'm going to show you the magic of Broker Kit when you're using it as a team. So this is a capper that I brought in, and we can see all the notes, all the text messages, and you can see Mary's notes. So can you imagine if, let's just say Dale's on my recruiting team, and Dale's got like 10 people in his pipeline, and then he's leaving for vacation. I can monitor what's been happening on BrokerKit so that I can just take this lead back if I need to,
Mm-hmm.
or
Makes
cover the
sense.
follow-up or what have you. So you guys definitely want to function 100% through this. My team doesn't even send an email to anyone unless it's through BrokerKit. So
So you sent the email out of BrokerKit, right?
yeah, so and this is something else I'll give you guys. I'll give you access to my BrokerKit so you can hack in and take all my templates. All you have to go in here is log in as me and steal like maybe like my appointment confirmation email. You guys can steal this. Just copy and paste it in your own.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, because I've like embedded all the videos and I've done a lot of work on this. So if you guys can steal anything from me, go for it.
If you can let me get in there and copy all that.
You got it, girl. I'll just give you my login. Why not? If you guys do something better, just share it back with me. I'd love to see what you guys are doing. But there's 2 emails that we send. So if I set the appointment, I send the email. If Mary, our ISA, sets the appointment, she sets it. If one of my people on our recruiting team sets their own appointment, they send it. So whoever sets the appointment sends a appointment confirmation. And the second thing they send is a sneak peek, which has all kinds of embedded videos on all of our KW tools and some of our advantages. So because of BrokerKit, we can really run smoothly together because I not only can see how long it's been since someone's been touched, loved on, or what have you, we can set follow-up dates specific to anybody. You know, maybe it's the day before they're going to test, we want a reminder, you know, send them a text like good luck, you know, what have you. But I also can, as a team leader, look at the pipelines of my team and see if I have to worry about people maybe getting too busy, you know, who's got someone in their pipeline, who do I need to help? Because I'm worried about follow-up. Follow-up is key. We need everything. So, any questions on that?
No.
Okay, so I don't want to be redundant. So lead follow-up is important, and then I have standards for conversion just because I can't afford to give my leads away if someone doesn't have the ability to close. So you don't learn how to recruit overnight, but you do learn pretty quickly, and it's so much like real estate. Sometimes it's intuitive for people to close, and some people don't know how to close. So if you don't know,
Yeah, but this is what you said ahead of time, where you said you got to train your team and make sure that they're up to speed.
The biggest issue I find is that my team sometimes forgets to close. So I'll be like, so are they joining us? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, how do you not know? You know, it's like, you need to know. So know that I am a little bit of a control freak. So I even have, I have a form that I ask them to use. I'm happy to share any of this, Dale, anything you want. You probably have this from the Madison days because I used it in Madison, but it's really the form. And these notes go into BrokerKit, so we know, you know, about them, and we know the important things like when are they taking the test and all that. We know the dates. We know how quickly they want to transition in. We know if they have a job or whatever. But all this is documented and put in there. And yet, here's the thing. There's some people that just aren't meant to do this. And so I love people with big hearts, but if they cannot convert, they cannot recruit. It's that simple. I can't afford to just be giving them leads. And yet I've had a few people that naturally weren't great at closing, but they were great at exciting people about Keller Williams. And then, you know what we decided? I'm like, hand those appointments to me. I'll close them for you, because I still wanted to encourage the behavior of the invitations and the other things, because I'm passionate about building my agents downline. And so know that if you sign up for this and you just don't have the gift of converting or closing someone, there's nothing wrong with that, but let's just move you into a little bit different role of maybe of a better introducer or better lead generator or opportunity setter for Dale, and let us do it. Because you have to realize I've been trained for 15 years to be recruiting, so it's very intuitive to me, and yet for you as new people, it's not as. So I'll jump into the presentation in a minute. Logistics, I showed you the calendar. Mary, our ISA, has access to everybody's calendar, so you have to be open to that. And she also does an appointment confirmation. a text the day before and it says, we are so excited to see you today at 9 o'clock. We've put a lot of effort into making sure that you have a great experience. If you have anything come up, need directions, etc., call our front desk. And so there's a little bit of guilt thrown in there so that if they don't show up, you know, they know we put a lot of effort into this and we can't wait to see them and can't wait to meet them. It's just like setting up a listing appointment, setting some type of expectation that you've invested in them and you're looking forward to their appointment. So, you know, you look at the team leader role, it's the role of a mega agent that lists a lot of property. If you think about it, it's very similar. And as you as top agents, you're taking listings. Dale and I are taking people. We're adding people to our offices. So it's kind of the same process even of when you take a listing, all the things that need to happen. That's the same thing as when we hire someone, all the things that need to happen to make sure they have a great KW experience, great transition into the business. So know that appointment confirmation, that's how that happens, because I know my agents are busy, and if I rely on them for everything, this probably would unravel. So I have my ISA taking care of all of that. And then if they find out, if the ISA finds out that, oh, they signed with somebody else or they're not coming, my ISA is texting and calling my agent so they know that they don't have an appointment and they can rebook that time for something more useful. Our appointment no-shows have like gone to 0 practically because of that. And then teaching the recruiting presentation. So let me just jump in. So I have, like I said, the whole presentation. I'm emailing it right after this with all the notes. So you know exactly what to say and you know exactly what to share. And if you make this any different or plus it, just share it back. I'd love to see what you guys do different or better. I'm always learning and we're always improving it. So it's constant improvement. This is a couple points is our office is really dominant locally. And so I have broker metrics like literally on my desk and the law report at all times. It's like, bam, here we are compared to the market. And so we have a recruiting room. So we had this one conference room that was kind of tiny and wasn't being utilized very much. We've staged it like a recruiting room. So all of my recruiting team members recruit out of there, and then I recruit out of my office. And so these packets are all ready to go. The needs analysis form is ready to go. The calendar's there, all their props per se, to be able to do a great, powerful recruiting appointment are in that room. And you know, we're going through the presentation because it's a lot of great questions that you want to ask, but it's also a presentation when you're talking to new people. They don't even know the difference between brokerages. So it's an education of the differences and an education of our values. But also during this, I'm comparing ourselves against what a traditional brokerage might look like in terms of splits versus Keller Williams. I do refer to the brokerages as traditional or old-fashioned, Keller Williams, and then the 100% plus like the RE/MAX. And then I have a tendency to bust out and also refer to cyber companies because we have like EXP and other brokerages that are like non-brokerages. And what I do, which I think is really powerful, is I actually have a broker metric showing like EXP, Exit Realty. Ours is Charles Rutenberg up here, which is a cyber company, and our production, and it's like little itty bitty production and then mega production. So I kind of like close the door on any of that pretty much during those appointments. So I'm not like talking negatively about any brokerage ever, but I'm just showing them the reality in terms of production, because reality is this. When you get to this slide, and I say, how much money do you need to earn to survive your first year in real estate? And then I say, okay, and what would a great year look like? And what would a year that you were super proud of look like? And I get 3 numbers from them, like survival, and then what could you live with and you'd renew for a second year, and what would you be proud of? And we work from these numbers. And it's funny how most people tell me, you know, 40,000 and then 60,000 and 100,000. It's almost everyone gives me the same answer. It's kind of funny. We're actually going to take a poll and keep track of this because we thought it was funny how everyone says the same numbers. But what I do, and I think this is pretty powerful, is I back engineer the numbers and start talking to them in a business conversation starting now. And when they go to other brokerages, it's not going to be that same kind of conversation. So I'll pretend role play with you, Dale, right now. So Dale, let me ask you, for you to survive your first year in real estate, what does that look like to you and your family financially?
I need to make about 60 grand a year.
60 grand a year. Great. So I'm going to teach you the business behind this business, because most brokerages, when you sit down, they're just going to talk about splits. They're not going to talk about your bottom line, because here's the thing. As a realtor, guess what? You're a business owner. You own a business. You've got taxes to pay. You've got bills to pay. And most brokerages don't talk to you that way. So I'm going to start talking to you that way so you can start thinking like a business owner. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's great.
Great. So you said how much? 60?
60 grand, yeah.
Okay, so I want to show you this page here. This is kind of what you should expect in terms of spendable income. So if you want to make 60,000, that means if we back that out, you're going to need to sell about 3.5 million in volume, or $3.5 million of houses added up over the year. So that would be 10 $350,000 houses, or, you know, you can do the math if you sell $200,000 houses. That's how many houses you have to sell to hit your bottom number. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Highly obtainable. I know you can do it. Now, here's the thing. What I wanted, we're going to start talking that number, 3.5, because that's your survival number. Now, this is why I'm telling you this. Commission, which is typically around 3%. In this office, it ranges agent to agent, but we'll say 3%. Sounds really good, because it would, if you just think of how much commission you need to bring in, you only have to sell 2 million in volume. See this? 2 million in volume, 60,000. But we want to talk about your actual profit. And if you only sold 2 million in volume and brought 60,000 in commission, you're only getting a spendable income of about 36,000. And if you did that, what would that mean to you financially this next year?
Just that we would be able to meet all the things that we have on our budget right now.
You got it.
And
so let's talk real.
We know how to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to put you in a position where I'm going to put you at risk financially with your family. So here's the thing. When we talk numbers for the rest of this conversation, we know that for you to hit your financial goal, you need to sell about 3.5 million in volume. It's easy to do. There's agents that are brand new out of the gates that do it. I'll give you a list of agents that have recently done that in our office if you want to kind of ask them how they did it. But we're going to talk 3.5. So I want to show you what most brokerages look like that you're going to meet with if you've already talked to or are talking with, versus Keller Williams, because we're very different, okay? So remember, how much do you need to sell to hit your goal?
About 3.5 million.
Yes. So if you go down on this chart, here's what a traditional brokerage is going to look like. And they all look the same. They're very old-fashioned. They've been doing this since 1920s this way. And basically what it is as an agent, the more you sell in the sold volume, the more you keep. It's very simple. So as a new agent, you may be on as low as a 50-50, and there's some companies that are even lower than that. And as you progress in the business, you get a better split. You've proven yourself. Well, Keller Williams is going to be very different than that. Now, you're a sharp guy. I'm guessing that if you walk into Coldwell Banker, they're going to promise you whatever, because they're going to want you to join. You're a great guy. I'd hire you in a second. But here's the thing. If you don't keep up with their production standards, they're going to roll you back to whatever split you should have been on. With Keller Williams, we don't have any of that. It's really straightforward and simple. So let's use your number, 3.5 million. If you were at a traditional brokerage and sold 3.5 million in volume, you would, as an agent, put in your pocket somewhere between 50 and 71,000, so let's call it 60. And you would have given your broker somewhere between 40 and 48,000, let's call it 45. Does that sound fair?
That sounds good.
Okay. At Keller Williams, the most you could pay out in any given year is 21,000. So if you choose to hit your goal of 3.5, you're going to save about $18,000 to $27,000 in your first year by joining Keller Williams.
How powerful is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Picture that.
Do you understand? Now, let's just be real. That's your first year, right? And you have a bigger goal than 60,000, I'm thinking, moving forward, don't you?
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know, your first year is survival mode, but year over year, you get better and better. And the reality is, as you get better and better, should you just pay your brokerage more and more money? Who got better, you or your broker? You.
I would, yeah.
Absolutely. So it's really easy for me to pick up the phone and call any agent at a traditional brokerage that's doing about $3 million or more and saying, would you like an $18,000 raise for doing the same work? An $18,000 raise. And the better you get, the more of a differentiation this is.
Just goes up and up.
Yeah. So the cool thing with Keller Williams is there's a limit to what you can pay the company every year. And yet for new agents, as a new agent, you're going to get a way better split than you would at a traditional brokerage. And as you get better year over year, you're not just paying the brokerage more and more money. There's a limit. And it's fair. It's somewhere between 8 and 10 houses in our local market. You're done paying. The cool thing is everything's included in this $21,000 as well. You're not just writing us a check for $21,000. You're just paying towards that as you have success. But what's really neat is in that cap is everything you'd ever need for your business to run well. All bells and whistles that you would ever want to buy or be sold are included. So it's a low risk model. Whereas like at RE/MAX, you got to go buy your own website. You've got to go buy your own database management program, blah, blah, blah. You've got all these checks going out every month to different vendors. What's cool about Keller Williams is we put that all in one. We've included it all in one. So it's not so risky. And yet as a new agent, you've got all the tools as a top agent. So you can compete. So when you cap, we have not made $21,000 off you. We've earned somewhere between $7,000 and $9,000. And the rest of it's gone towards the cost of having you. Pretty cool, huh?
Right.
Yeah. So as a new agent, you're not going to have the splits that you would at a traditional brokerage. I mean, obviously they can promise you anything, but we pay everyone the same here. So you have to, there's no negotiation of you having to worry about what the guy next to you at Next Cube is being paid. Everyone's the same here. It's fair. It's not a lot of money. And yet you have every bell and whistle ever. Now,
Awesome.
Jessica, I want to get in there with one question. If you recruit for teams into the expansion teams, how do you deal with their split? Do you have a set split for your expansion teams or?
Yep. So let me jump into that next. Now, I don't dive into teams too much during a recruiting presentation because everybody new thinks they need to go on a team. And frankly, teams want people that know how to write contracts, not brand new people. And so I jump in right here and say, if a team is a better fit for you, we will discover that once you've done a few transactions and have gone through training. There's a KPA, there's a process, and frankly, until you know how to write a contract and do some things for yourself, a team won't even consider you. But let's just say a team is in your future. If that's the case, this is what a team split looks like, a team cap. And for us, it's 4,500 plus 3. We treat expansion and our regular teams the same. And so obviously the first expansion hire is a full cap, but all the team members after that are a team split, which is 7,500 in my office. And I do show this slide, but then we move on quickly because they get caught up like, can I join a team? Will they help me? And will they give me leads? And they have all these misconceptions. I also have a class every month called To Team or Not to Team, where I paint the picture of what it really is so that anyone that's interested can learn about the opportunity, but it's also a reality check of you don't just go join a team and they hand you leads. That's not how it works.
Okay.
Okay. And you guys do whatever you want. I'm just telling you what I do. So if you don't agree with that or you have a different way of doing things, run it by Dale. And then I do spend quite a bit of time on the expenses as well, because I talk about, okay, let's just say, let's be honest, there's some companies out there with better splits where they're 95% splits. But the reality is you now have to build the business behind you. Whereas with Keller Williams, everything's included and all the leads go directly to you. Now, the difference between a platform with a traditional brokerage and a platform with Keller Williams isn't like Coldwell Banker or Berkshire Hathaway. And I will name drop wherever they said they were also looking. If you look at those brokerages, you don't have the same package because the reality is all their tools generate leads back to the brokerage, not to the agents. And you're not helping yourself if you've got a website out there that's actually sending your broker leads, not you, correct? Correct. So Keller Williams, everything is direct to you. So it's really awesome because you have every bell and whistle, every tool that you'd ever need, and yet it brings you leads direct to you, not to the broker. So here's what you need to do. You need to look at expenses and income because it's about what you net. So with Keller Williams, you have an awesome compensation model that's extremely fair. It doesn't gouge you. You don't just pay more and more and more the better you get. And we're only $43.50 a month to be with. That's our E&O and our monthly. We're so cheap to be with. And yet all those bells and whistles that we talked about, which I would have gone through, cost way more than $43.50. Remember, as you have success, part of your split's going towards the cost of actually having you. Okay? Any questions on that? So basically, this is the recruiting presentation. I'm going to email it to you, Dale. And
Thank you.
And here's the reality. I put all these talking points. I've done this thousands of times, so this is like right out of my face. Yet I have all these talking points literally bulleted in the notes version of this PowerPoint. So, you know, and like I said, I do it this way. I'd love to hear what's working for you guys. And what I do every month is I get together with my recruiting team and we spend about an hour together. I usually bring in a pizza or something. We kind of share, we kind of role play like what's working. And Lou, he's a lot of fun. He actually added 10 people to his downline in the month of March. He's an awesome growth team member. And he kind of shares his spiel, but he starts with saying, okay, I'm an agent in my first year, made $100,000. I can share with you anything you want to know about the company, but I got to tell you this. If you don't join Keller Williams at the end of this conversation, I screwed up, and that means I need Jessica to call you to fix what I did. So he starts with that, and it's so funny because he has almost 100% conversion rate, and yet, you know, every now and then he's like, okay, I do need you to call this one person. So then they're like, you know, open to having a conversation with me as well. So just know that you guys will make it your own. I would challenge you just to start small and just do one or two together, do one with Dale. But I hope this does big things for all of you in terms of what you could be earning for your profit share. Okay, let me just show you one thing that I built and I'm building because I'm building this as I go. Here's a guide, the manual, the operations manual for my team. And I need to spend more time on this. Fortunately, my team is very good about kind of flying with me. But we started documenting kind of what we're doing. And again, I will send this to you, Dale, and you know, it's really pretty in draft form right now. So just know that it's part of
Give us a second.
Jessica, I have a question. In all of this stuff that I've seen, you don't use a recruiting website then, right?
Oh, we have one. It's just a recruiting website's as good as an agent's website, depending on how well you drive traffic to it. So I don't get a ton off of a recruiting website, but I don't have Red Careers or some of those other things dialed in.
Okay.
I would love to get leads offline or online. I'm just not there yet. So all of you have that as agents. So just think about that. What if once a quarter you posted to your entire database? Who do you know that's considering a career in real estate? We've got great opportunities internationally and I'd love to connect them. And you just had your link for your landing page for Broker Kit? Or what about your email signature? Considering a career in real estate, click here. Or once a month, you promoted a career night in your office and said, who do you know that's considering a career in real estate? I'd love to invite them to this career event, or have them click here, or, you know, go to this website. So yeah, you guys have tons of opportunity. And let's just be honest, most of you are interacting with at least 5 to 15 agents a week anyway. Just because of deals or feedback or follow-up or scheduling showings or whatever you're doing. So how are you capitalizing on that? Are you saying, so how's business? If all you start doing is act a little more friendly and say, so how's your business? Whatever they tell you will be a great clue for Dale. And you don't have to pitch them. Don't pitch them then. Just say, you know what, I've got a great coach. They just sent me some really good material on X, you know, leverage or leads or whatever. I'll pass that along, and if you like what you see, I'll ask them to give you a free call. That is probably the #1 way my agents connect me. It's so simple too. So keep it simple. And here's the thing is, Dale and I, as team leaders, love that you guys care to help us. So thank you from the bottom of my heart and his heart, I'm sure. And yet, you need to practice a little. So this is not like this is like a listing presentation, guys. You're learning it. You're going to learn it. And yet these are the logistics of how I'm doing it. And like I said, it's not perfect. And what it's required me to do, Dale, is I have on Mondays 15-minute time slots blocked to quickly call through my recruiting team to say, hey, let's talk about your pipeline. And sometimes they're not available and they're like, I'm in the middle of an appointment, even though I scheduled it with them. I'm like, can you give me 15 minutes on your pipeline later? And they're like, sure. Or here's who we've got coming in. So it's not a perfect science. It's not, but yet communication is key. So you guys got to work out how you're going to communicate effectively.
Right.
So
Right.
that's about all I got. That's what we're doing over here in Clearwater.
Motivated me.
Well, hey, Becky, our productivity coach, couldn't be here today, so can you send me the recording? How much are you charging for that?
No, nothing. It's free. I got it. I'll just share it right afterwards. I'll throw it up on KW Connect because it's going to be a big file.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And
yeah.
You know what? Here's the plan though, you guys. I would say this: if you guys want to do this, set it up. Like, okay, when is Dale going to host recruiting boot camp where you guys could go through this PowerPoint with the notes together and kind of role play what this would look like? And then, okay, what's the lead generation plan? What if you guys? Here's an idea. What if you took your licensing list from January through March, handed it off to your awesome team there, Dale, and had them call and say, hey, how's your start in real estate?
Yeah.
And the reality is most of those folks are not having the start they wished. And then have something scheduled like a special class that you're adding into the calendar, like how to have the best start in real estate possible, or like a panel. And you invite those folks in. Maybe doing even an evening class. You might be able to bring in 30, 40 people in like 2 months that way.
Hey, and maybe, we got to kickstart this now here. Maybe in a few weeks, we can even do role playing with you guys, that there's not even people that know each other. We call your recruiters call us, and we make like a real training session out of it.
Well, we are in our office, so you guys would have to do the same. So I have to lead that. I have to lead that as a team leader. And like I said, you guys will need to do that too. And if you do something once a month, it'll help stay current, stay good. And then those of you that are doing a little bit better in terms of conversion can share your secrets. And that's how we're doing it here. So we don't have anything scheduled for July right now, just with holidays. It seems like everyone's on a vacation. And so if I had something booked, I would just tell you when we're going to do it. But I don't think we're going to get it on the calendar for July. It's going to be August. And yet I would hate for you guys to waste time and not start now. You know what I mean? Why not? What's the harm in calling all the people that didn't meet with you yet this year and circling back and saying, hey, how are you doing? And we've got opportunity and we'd love to sit down with you again if you're not having the start that you wanted. And maybe just having a couple things on the calendar that would be perfect invite stuff. Just food for thought. That's what I would do right now.
Great.
So any last questions?
If I'm working with the newly licensed agents,
I want to introduce you to one of my, I'll take your question 1 second. Here's Paula. Paula, you can say hi. Hi. Paula's on our recruiting team. She just started. And she's covering an 11 o'clock appointment for me so I can lead generate. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so one of the things I do is I get a lot of appointments put on my calendar that I can also peel off to my recruiting team so I can lead generate more. So I actually I lead generate more than anybody in this office. So
yeah.
So to take your question, I'm sorry, I just wanted to quick introduce.
My question was just if I'm working mainly with newly licensed, is there somebody specific that you would tell me to shadow?
Dale, whoever in your office is a great recruiter.
Well, no, I know.
The best we got.
Yeah. No. I know, Dale, I just didn't know when you said shout out somebody, I thought you were talking about people outside of here as well.
Oh, okay. So in my office, I've grown a couple great recruiters. I've got Margaret Jackson, who was assistant team leader and went back into sales. She's great. She did it for about a whole year with me. So she's had a lot of experience. And then Lou Tutko is a total natural. He's one of my better agents in terms of conversion. And so when I bring new people on, I have them shadow me, Margaret, or Lou, two of us, whichever two they can get on the calendar with. You guys will have to build to that. You'll have to build to that.
Okay.
You know, it's not overnight, but it's quickly. So, and yet Paula, who just popped in, is a newer agent. She's been with us for 6 months. She captained her first 6 months. She's a great agent. And the other thing is I'm looking for my ATL, so she's at the top of my list right now. So it's a great way to build your bench, you know, for your team.
Right.
Yeah. And so here's the thing is, give it a whirl, you guys. Come up with a strategy together. Dale, you're the leader of this team. Come up with your vision, your plan, and figure out who's going to do the lead gen. You might just have an ISA doing everything right now and just setting appointments and then evolve as you go. And I'd say keep it simple. Start with just a few people. Don't like make this open to the office. I never intend it to be any bigger than it is. I'm going to treat it kind of like the size of an ALC, where I can keep my arms around it, where it doesn't get out of control, and that it's not a right to be on this. It's an opportunity, but there's a little bit of accountability and responsibility, or otherwise this will just blow up.
Perfect.
Correct.
And if there's anything we can do to help you, we're here for you. So I hope you got some good value out of this. This is not a perfect thing. Requires a lot of great communication. I would say time block your pipeline check-ins with them right away, Dale. Otherwise, it'll get a little out of control. I'll tell you, it's a little messy at times, but we're getting through it. And
Okay, good. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I live it.
Okay, well,
Huge
good luck,
value.
you guys. I'm sending you good recruiting mojo.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.